Hello, welcome to LK Tuition. Today we're going to be looking at highest common factors. My name is Lucas, hope you're doing well. So let's have a little look then. So a common factor of two numbers is a number that can be multiplied to make both of the other numbers. So for example, we're thinking of 10 and 8. What is a common factor of those? Well, it's 2, because 2 times 5 is 10 and 2 times 4 is 8. So 2 goes into both numbers. Now we're going to be interested in the highest common factor. So there might be a few more than one with a pair of numbers, but we want to find the highest one. Now the best way to do that is just to list all the factors of both numbers and to look at the common ones and then pick the highest of those. So for instance, the factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10 and 20, and the factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5 and 15. Now from this you can see that the highest common factor of 20 and 15 is 5. Now actually it has two common factors, so one of them is 1, and you'll find out that 1 is a common factor of every number, but we have got a higher one which is 5. So the common factor that's highest is 5. Okay, so let's just do a few examples then. So again, as always, have a go, pause the video, give the questions a try. Otherwise, we'll keep going and I'll have a go at them myself. Okay, so number 1, we want to find the highest common factor of 24 and 40. So the first thing we want to do is just do the factors of both. So let's just start with 24. So 24 is, we've got 1 and 24. We've got 2 and 12, we've got 3 and 8, and we've got 4 and 6. So those are all of our factors of 24. And now let's do 40. So the factors of 40 are 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 3 doesn't go into 40, 4 does, 4 times 10, and we've got 5 times 8. Okay, so just having a quick scan, it looks to me that the highest common factors are going to be 8. There's an 8 there and there's an 8 there, so that's making me think the highest common factor is 8. And that is the answer to that one. Okay, question 2 then, it says find HCF, so that's exactly the same, the highest common factor of 100 and 150, so it's just a little bit of a different way of doing it. So 100 and 150, so they're a bit bigger, but let's just see what we end up with. But even just looking at it, you might be able to see that 50 looks to be the highest common factor, but let's just see what we end up with. So if we look at 100, let's grab a different colour. So let's start with 100. So 100 I can write as 1 times 100, 2 times 50, 3 doesn't go into it, 4 times 25, 5 times 20, 6 doesn't, 7 doesn't, 8 doesn't, 9 doesn't, but 10 does, 10 squared. Okay, so that's my factors of 100. And then let's do 150. So that's 1 times 150, 2 times 75, 3 times 50. And actually, I could stop there because these numbers are going down. So I'm not going to get anything more than 50. And I've noticed that 50 is already in this one here. Okay, so let's just keep going just for completeness then. So we've got 4 doesn't go into it, 5 times 30. 6 times divide by 3, 6 times 25, 7 doesn't, 8 doesn't, 9 doesn't, 10 times 15, and I think that's all of them. But yeah, there we go. So 50 is the highest common factor. Okay, so number 3 is a bit of an interesting one. So find the highest common factor of 5 and 7. Well, if we look at 5 and 7, the factors of 5 are just 1 times 5, and the factors of 7 are just 1 times 7. They're both prime numbers. So if you've got two prime numbers, their common factor can only be 1. Oops, that wasn't the highlighter I was after. So the common factor is 1. So let's write that down and circle it. And that was 50, wasn't it? There we go. Okay. And then number 4, so we've got 3 numbers, but it's exactly the same idea. We want to find the highest common factor of 12, 27 and 33. So it's the same idea. So we'll start off with 12. And we've got 1 times 12, 2 times 6 and 3 times 4. For 27, we've got 1 times 27 and 3 times 9. And for 33, we've got 1 times 33 and we've got 3 times 11. And so in all of these, it looks like, I need to stop using that colour. Let's get that back. What was that? 2 times 6. Let's use that. So in all of our factorizations, we get 3. So that is the highest common factor, is 3. Okay, so finally, let's just have a look at a couple of worded questions. So here we've got Dave. It says Dave has 2 planks of wood. Lucky lad. One is 66 metres long and the other is 44 metres long. Dave wants to cut the wood into smaller pieces that are all the same length and doesn't want to have any wood left over. What is the longest possible length for each of the shorter pieces of wood? So we want to be able to cut each plank into equal pieces so that they're all the same, but what is the longest that we could do? All right, so again, this is just a highest common factor question. So let's just start off with this 66 and let's write its factors. So this is 1 times 66, 2 times 33, 3 times 22, or 6 times 11. I think that's all of them. And then if we look at, let's grab a different colour, let's look at 44. We've got 1 times 44, 2 times 22, 4 times 11, and I think that is everything we can get. So there are a lot of common factors. So 1 is in both of them, 2 is in both of them, 22 is in both of them, and that to me looks to be the highest as well. We have got 11, but for me 22 is the highest common factor. So the longest length for each shorter piece of wood would be 22, and don't forget to write in your units, which is metres. Okay, lovely. Let's do one more then. So here's Yasmin, and she's thinking of 2 numbers. She's obviously got nothing better to do. She says that the highest common factor of her 2 numbers is 3 and the least common multiple of her 2 numbers is 45. What 2 numbers could she be thinking of? Okay, so you can just think about this. Okay, the highest common factor is 3, the lowest common multiple is 45. What could we find? Well, let's just kind of do it in a bit of a systematic way. So if we start by 45, now we know the least common multiple, so let's work backwards and find out the factors. So the factors of 45 are going to be 1 times 45, 3 times 15, we've got 5 times 9, and that's all of our factors. Okay, and then we know that the highest common factor is 3, so if we're going backwards, we want to do the multiples. So the multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, blah, blah, blah. So now we want 2 numbers in this list that are going to have a highest common factor of 3 and a least common multiple of 45. Okay, so you just need to kind of have a little think about this, but to me it's got to be, so I'll tell you what it is first. It's going to be 9 and it's going to be 5. Okay, because, not 5, sorry, ignore me. 15, I mean. Let's just get rid of that little highlighter there. So it's going to be 9 and 15. And that's because the highest common multiple of 9 and 15 is going to be 45. Yeah, it's in the 9 times table, it's in the 15 times table. There's nothing lower that's in both. And also the highest common factor of those 2 numbers is 3. Okay, so let's just write out our answer properly then. So the 2 numbers are going to be 9 and 15. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. So this has been the highest common factor. So just remember that's the highest number that goes into both of a pair of numbers. And the best way to do that is to write out all the factors of each of the numbers and then see which one is in both. That is the highest. Okay, this has been LK Tuition. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon for some more GCSE maths videos.